I don't know too much details, so I'm just gonna ask you.
Yeah.
What did building that school, was it in Africa?
Yeah, Malawi.
Malawi, what did building that school, how did that even come into fruition, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so the story goes, I saw it on TikTok in early 2020. This was around maybe like a year into that. And I saw this trend. Some people might remember it, but this trend on TikTok where people would get luxury goods like Louis Vuitton, glasses, bags, whatnot, just like absurd stuff. It was all satirical pretty much, but it'd be like, hey, if everyone watching this Venmos me $1, like I can buy this.
Yeah.
And there's like a little trend for a second there. And so my thought was like, okay, can we do this to like raise money for something, right? And so I go out. At the time I had like maybe 100,000 followers on TikTok, whatnot. All focused on like positive mental health topics, and it was during COVID, so it's kind of like a more mellow part. Like the kind of the feeling in the world wasn't great, right? And so I thought this was a good opportunity to show that like, hey, these random strangers scrolling online can make a difference. So the first thing I did was we did a video like, hey, and it was so sketch. I was like, I just like put my Venmo in it. It was like, everyone Venmo me, like whatever, I'll donate, and let's see how much we can raise for Feeding America, nonprofit. I raised like $120 in 24 hours. After that, I was like, okay. The thing about maybe doing a fundraiser like that is it won't go viral. It won't get a ton of clicks, and it won't raise that much money because there's no crazy story.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting there, and I remember vividly like talking to my parents, and I realized, and I don't know why my brain went to this, but how cool it'd be if like random strangers online just scrolling on TikTok could donate money and build a school in a developing country. And so that in its sense made sense because it's a big enough goal where it seems a bit outrageous that could just catch on. And so that was my thought process, and I Googled how to build a school and build on nonprofit I've been working with for a while. Great people there showed up, and I started making videos kind of going across the topic of, hey, you stumbled across this video randomly. I have these 60 seconds with you, and I believe that we together can make a difference in kind of a more lonely, tough time. And that's kind of how it started. And I made a GoFundMe. People started donating. And I remember about a few weeks in, I was posting like every day about this, telling the story. We had raised like $1,000 or something like that. Maybe like, a few weeks in. And I was like, crap, like we're not on pace. And I guess I was naive in that sense. I wanted this to happen real quick.
Yeah.
But obviously raising $30,000 doesn't happen overnight. And I remember being a bit discouraged, but I continued posting, and one of the videos blew up, went pretty viral, and it jumped to like 10,000. And then I kept making videos, and it slowly jumped up. And I got a video with like 6 million views, and it jumped up even more. And people kept donating and starting to support. Some people even made videos under the sound, and this whole thing. And eventually it was like maybe 2.5 months in, we had hit that $30,000 mark, donated the money. And then, they built the school around a year later because COVID. And then a year after that, I was finally able to visit. So it was a real process. It was a bit difficult because COVID at the time. But it was cool to see just random strangers online donate $1, $5 to support the cause. And that trip was for sure life-changing.
So how much do you keep up with the school now, and what did it feel like when you visited it in person?
So I went on Trek, which is a build-on. Essentially, it's like how you go out and you help them build a school for a few weeks. It was really impactful. First of all, because I'd been working with a lot of mental health nonprofits for a second and been raising money for them. But these are like big organizations where you don't really know where the money's going, and not to shine it in a negative light, but that was eye-opening for me to go on that trip because you saw directly where every dollar was going, into the bricks, into the mortar, everything, into the contractors.
Yeah.
It was special for sure, and it's why I want to work with Build On, for as long as I'm alive. And if I, ever get to the point where I have a spare $30,000 lying around, I'd love to build another school, And being there was eye-opening. It's kind of one of those things where you had to go on that trip because, it was just special. It was very emotional, just to see what you can kind of do and what people can do online.
Did seeing that level of poverty and like disparity in the country help you to feel more grateful and happy?
It's interesting. I guess like breaking down my thoughts during and after the trip. in a sense, it actually, like, I don't think it made me feel more grateful. It just made me like fired up to see. It made me motivated to like continue working hard to like somehow make a change in the world.
Yeah.
It made me really like. It made me really excited to keep working with Build On and like see the work they're doing and build sustainable schools. Obviously, like a sense, seeing that level of poverty was really difficult, and like it does make you feel grateful and think more about like what you're spending your money on and all this stuff. But you know, at the end of the day, I think it motivated me to an extent of like, okay, I need to like come back. I need to do this with the guys. We need to build a school, and you know, that is still one of the biggest goals I have in my life is to like build 10 schools with Build On.
Wow.